Hey everyone, Brien from 3 Geeky Dads here. Before we begin tonight's episode, I just want everyone to know that we are now sponsored by Audible. As an IT professional for a school department, I find myself behind the wheel of my car traveling between schools almost all day long, and that's where Audible comes in. Right now, I'm enjoying listening to Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, read by Stephen Fry. It's so enjoyable to hear this hilarious audiobook read by a proper British comic actor. And that's just scratching the surface. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word content, with everything from bestsellers, celebrity memoirs, and news to podcasts. Yes, if you're into podcasts, and you're listening to us right now, so we can assume you do, Audible has got you covered. Just go to www.audibletrial.com/3GD to get your free 30-day trial today. That's www.audibletrial.com/3GD to get your free 30-day trial. You'll get 1 credit, 2 credits if you're already an Amazon Prime member. That's good for any premium selection titles you like, and they're yours to keep. You also get the Audible Plus catalog of podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals. Listen all you want, no credits needed. Again, that's www.audibletrial.com/3GD. $14.95 a month after your 30-day trial, cancel at any time. Audible. Stay informed, connected, and inspired. And now, on with the show.
This is your 2-minute warning. This ship will self-destruct in exactly 2 minutes.
Launch all escape pods as soon as they are filled!
Hey, you're not permitted in there. It's restricted. You'll be deactivated shortly.
Hey, I assume you tried to gain control of the escape pod in Dock 14.
Yes, I tried to gain control. There's an escape pod in Dock 14?
Hey, that's my escape pod! Who are you? I'm the bearded lady. But are you one of the freaks?
According to this, there's a single occupant escape pod called the Deus Ex Machina.
Escape pod was jettisoned during the fighting. No life forms were aboard.
She must have hidden the plans in the escape pod.
Hey, look! There's a prize inside that box of ham-dingers. An escape pod.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Welcome to another 3GD Escape Pod episode. Tonight, it's just me, Brien, and my daughter Quinn.
Hi.
Who really wanted to get behind the mic and talk about her new favorite movie, Lisa Frankenstein. This movie, directed by Robin Williams' daughter Zelda Williams and written by Diablo Cody, stars Kathryn Newton, Cole Sprouse, and Carla Gugino, and was released just this past February. But, Quinn, you've seen it multiple times since then.
14.
Just 14.
Yeah. Only 14.
So let's talk about Lisa Frankenstein.
Yeah.
All right, Quinn.
From Wikipedia.
Quinn, before we begin.
Yeah.
Do you think you can give a quick rundown of this movie?
I'll try my best.
All right.
This is from Wikipedia.
All right,
I can't do this.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep on track.
I will.
Okay.
In 1989, Lisa Swallows is a lonely teenage girl still struggling to come to terms with the loss of her mother, who was killed by an axe murderer 2 years earlier. Her father, Dale, remarries a horrid and narcissistic woman named Janet and gains a popular stepsister, Taffy.
Horrid.
Horrid, yes.
That's a word.
It is.
It's a good word.
Horrific. Lisa spends much of her time in the local Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, much to the chagrin of her family.
Chagrin.
If
you're gonna do Wikipedia, you gotta.
I've never heard of that word before. After an unfortunate tanning bed electrocution, Lisa heads to a party with Taffy. She's accidentally drugged and almost sexually assaulted by a classmate, Doug. Disoriented and upset, Lisa returns to the cemetery and speaks to the grave of a young Victorian man who died in 1837, expressing her desire to be with him. In reality, she means to be dead. The young man had been a musician who had fallen in love with a woman in his own time before she left him for another man. He was killed after being struck by lightning. A bolt of green lightning strikes the grave after Lisa leaves, and the young man, referred to as the creature in the film's credits, is brought back to life as a lovesick zombie. The creature breaks into the house. Lisa realizes he's the young man whose grave she dotes on and decides to hide him in her bedroom closet. The creature is mute, missing multiple body parts and covered in debris, all attributes he is deeply ashamed of. Lisa claims that a burglar broke in to explain the mess made by the creature, but Janet claims she's making it up for attention. After the creature leaves a worm in Janet's food, she threatens to send Lisa to an asylum. The creature kills Janet, cutting off her left ear, which Lisa sews onto his head. Prior, both dump Janet's body into the cemetery. Lisa figures out that, using electrocution, body parts can become one with him. She uses Taffy's tanning bed to put in his ear, and later lures Doug to the cemetery so that the creature can cut off his right hand. The creature kills Doug and hides his body with Janet's. With these new attachments, the creature starts looking more like his old self, and he and Lisa start to bond. The police start to investigate Janet's and Doug's disappearances. Lisa avoids being implicated before going to the home of her crush, Michael. Resolving to lose her virginity to him, she finds him in bed with Taffy and is devastated. He prepares to attack Taffy, but Lisa intervenes. He drives to the cemetery, and Lisa, with a traumatized Taffy in tow, follows. Before Lisa goes after the creature to kill him, she gives Taffy her late mother's rosary as a token for her kindness and sympathy. Lisa confronts the creature, who admits he loves her. They then leave the cemetery after throwing a police officer into an open grave. With the police zeroing in on her and now fully embracing death, Lisa convinces the creature to electrocute her in the tanning bed. The creature does as she asked, causing Lisa to burn to death. Sometime later, Dale and Taffy visit Lisa and Janet's graves. The creature, now fully alive and able to speak, sits on a park bench and reads Percy Shelley's To Mary to a resurrected and bandaged Lisa as she lies on his lap.
All right. That was good. I think that was under 2 minutes as well.
Wow.
Not bad.
Thanks.
All right. So, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do some categories. So, what's your first impression of the movie?
Well, I went to go see it with Papa and Uncle Dennis, and I thought that it was the wrong movie at first because there was an animation at the beginning, and I should be used to this by now. When we went to see Frozen and we went to see Moana, when they have animations at the beginning that had nothing to do with the movie.
Right. But Frozen and Moana are animated movies to begin with.
Yeah, but it was not related. But this one, it did have to do with the movie. It was in the movie, and it was the introduction of the creature, and I didn't know that. But still, it was really adorable once I figured it out, and I was pretty excited about it when I first saw it.
Just from the opening credit sequence? Or
I saw the trailer for it when we went to see the FNAF movie, and I wrote it down that I wanted to see it, and then I completely forgot about it. And then I remembered it when Papa brought it up, how he was going to go see the movie, and you didn't want to go.
I didn't.
No. So I went and saw it instead of you.
I passed on it. Yeah, I wasn't, as far as my first impressions go, I wasn't too sure about this movie at first, which is why I skipped it. But since then, I've seen it quite a few times because, like you said, you've seen it, at least 14 times?
Exactly 14.
Exactly 14.
Exactly 14.
Including last night?
Including last night.
Okay. Because you've watched it semi-regularly, and I've seen it quite a few times with you. It's a fun and funny movie with a hint of blood and horror, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's got some very funny lines, some very clever lines. This was written by Diablo Cody, who also wrote Juno
and Jennifer's
Body. So she's no stranger to movies like this with young adults, and especially with Jennifer's Body. That's kind of a horror comedy as well. You haven't seen that one yet, have you?
No, but I've heard it's about like a succubus girl, and I've seen some clips of her.
I thought you were going to say I've seen some succubus at my high school.
No, I've seen some clips of her. I think it was in a pool, so that's all I've seen of it.
Cool. All right, so let's get into it. What's your favorite scene?
Oh, I have many.
I had a feeling.
So, I'd say one of my first favorite scenes is right after the creature comes out of the tanning bed. Once his hand is sewn on, and I call it Shall We Dance because that's the name of the song that plays when that scene comes on on Spotify. So it's a really good song too that goes with it, and they start dancing because he finally has like mobility again, and
a hand that he can hold on to her with.
Yeah. And bugs are falling off of him still, but that happens throughout the whole movie.
Because when he's first brought to life, he's missing a few body parts.
Yeah, and he's covered in mud because he just got out of the ground.
Okay, so did you have other favorite scenes?
I have many. Okay.
Go ahead, do a couple more.
After the creature gets in the car and it's just in a random spot in the neighborhood, there's this old guy that's like, "Hey, what are you doing in my neighborhood?" And he puts up his fist, like, "Do you want to fight?" And then the creature apparently takes his club from inside the car club.
Mm-hmm.
That
because this movie takes place in '89.
So to protect his car.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember when we had those.
He apparently hits the old guy with it, because after that...
It's not shown on screen. It's showed off screen. You just see the aftermath.
Another one cut.
Oh, yeah?
I've seen, like, behind-the-scenes clips of Zelda showing him how to hit the old guy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it's him driving away and waving to the little boy that the old guy was with, because I guess he didn't like the old man.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just waving at each other, and it's really cute. And then I love the scene where, of course, she first meets him, and he breaks into her house. And she's like, "Oh my god!" And I like the way that her hands kind of reflect the way that the TV that she was watching, with all the hands showing up on screen. And I love the ending scene where they're saying to marry while she's sitting on his lap.
On the park bench?
Yeah, on the park bench.
Yeah, and he's reading the poetry to her because he can finally speak.
Exactly. And when they're trying on clothes, that's adorable.
Who doesn't like a good clothes montage of like changing outfits?
Especially with a dead guy.
A dead guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't see that every day.
And then when he pulls out the note that Lisa gave to him after she burns herself in the tanning bed, and he reads it and it says, "Death is temporary, I'll love you forever," with the little lightning symbol. And then he looks up at her with the music on cue, and then everything else happens. So, yeah, those are my favorite scenes. What's your favorite scene?
I too like the one with the old man. It's just it's a weird scene because the little boy that the old man is with, I think, is what makes that scene, because the old man is like berating the little boy for like not cutting the grass right. Yeah. So I think that this little kid kind of has like a fantasy that this guy would like just either up and die, or like something would happen to him, and then when it does, he's not fazed by it, and he's like actually like waving to the creature as the creature drives away, like, "Thank you."
No,
it was
so
just
cute.
it was very odd, but I kind of I like that offbeat kind of scene.
And the creature gets his like own little alone time, screen time.
Yeah, I too like I do.
They're in bed.
No. I do like the clothes montage.
Okay.
That's always fun. Especially like this movie takes place in the 80s too, so everything's
89.
so right. It's the end of the 80s, and it's just so colorful. Like the color palette, like throughout this whole movie, is just pinks and greens, which was very.
It's so gorgeous.
It was very that was very prevalent back then.
It makes for just such nice to look at just scenes, and
Yeah.
it's so pretty,
Yeah.
and that's like a big part of why I like watching it.
Was this Zelda Williams' first movie?
Debut.
It was. All right, so she kind of knocked it out of the park with this one.
Yeah.
She really has an eye. Yeah, I kind of like. So I like any scene where Lisa is interacting with Taffy.
Right.
Like the interplay between her and her stepsister Taffy, because Taffy's kind of like Miss Popular, and everybody at school loves her, and she can do no wrong in the eyes of her mom, and poor Lisa is like put upon, and nobody seems to like
She's
her.
evil to her mom.
And
like her mom thinks she's evil. She's not actually evil to her mom.
Right. So she just always seems to get like the shitty end of the stick all the time, and her and her sister Taffy always have like a really cool interplay.
Yeah.
Where Taffy, even though she's Miss Popular, she's always like on Lisa's side.
She's so sweet.
She is.
Like,
but sometimes you get the impression that she's just being fake.
Yeah, like when she says something backhanded to one of her friends at the party in that scene, and she's like, "Oh, your bangs, you fixed them. They look so bad, and I wasn't going to say anything, but you look so good now."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I know. There's a lot of clever lines like that throughout this movie. So yeah, I like any scene like that, and of course the scenes with the creature are cool, especially as he's like trying to learn the modern world, which he seems to kind of get
Like really well.
He's a really fast learner. He knows his way around the stereo. He learns to drive in no time.
Yeah, I guess you said he had a lot of time to himself.
That's what I was thinking. Either that, or we just have to really suspend disbelief in this movie. Which, it's a horror fantasy, so it is fun. All right, so what's our next category? Let's see. What doesn't work for me? Do you have anything that doesn't work for you?
He can drive.
All right, so we're going with that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I have too.
Yeah. And then I also put, why is the little boy so okay with the old man dying?
Like I said, I think he kind of has his own fantasy about it, because this guy's just like tearing into him about cutting the grass and not doing it right, or whatever he was saying.
I love how the creature steals the old man's clothes.
I didn't even notice that.
He does.
Okay.
Because before that, he's wearing like the vest and the t-shirt with the sunglasses and the hat. And then after that, he's wearing like old clothes from his time with like the white button-up shirt, the suspenders.
But
and
what was the old man wearing when he was lying on the ground?
He had the shirt on, but he had no pants on.
Oh, okay. So he stole his pants.
Yeah, but I don't know where he got the shirt from then, if he was still wearing the shirt.
I don't know.
Maybe it's within the cutscene there.
Could be. That was the old man's car, wasn't it?
I think.
Did he take the old man's car?
I don't know. I think.
Where did he get the car?
He just wanted his clothes. I think it might have been Dale's car.
Oh, okay.
He drove up to the old man and then stole his clothes.
He did. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't the old man's car. Because I was going to say maybe if it was the old man's car, the old man might have had some of his clothes in it. But
I mean,
maybe not.
Maybe it was the old man's car. 'Cause I can't tell if he drove up there. I mean, it kind of just shows him walking in front of the car and then I think breaking into it. So I don't know if it was the old man's car or just some random car. 'Cause he's like, hey, this is my neighborhood. Not like, this is my car. So, yeah.
All right. So what doesn't work for me is the same as you. I mean, I get he's, like I said, I was trying to rationalize it by saying I think he's got a lot of time on his hands. Like while Lisa's at school, he's at home all by himself. So maybe he's got time to figure out how the stereo works and how all this other technology works. But the car thing, that was a little like, okay, yeah, we really got to suspend disbelief here.
Yeah, I mean, Lisa says that he says, you probably don't even know what an APV is.
APV?
Because she said, oh my gosh, there's probably an APV on this car already.
APB.
Oh, well.
APB is all points bulletin.
Oh.
That's something that the cops put out when
like with the red laser on your car.
No. An all points bulletin means like they're letting everybody know. It's a bulletin that goes out to all the cops to be on the lookout for. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
for such and such.
Then she says, you probably drove one of those stupid bikes with the one wheel. And then he looks away, like, embarrassed and guilty. And she's like, you did,
didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he did.
Take me to Michael's.
He did. That's called a penny farthing. That style of bike. It's called a penny farthing.
Oh, right. Okay, I thought you meant, like, him looking away. I'm like,
no. The style of bike is called a penny farthing.
I remember hearing that.
Does anything work for you?
Everything else.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. That's what I wrote. Literally everything else. I love the plot and the way the scenes look because they're just so pretty. And I love when they're in bed drinking that murky milk.
Yeah, what was that?
I think it was milk. I
just
saw
milk?
someone say that it was chocolate milk, and then I thought someone else say that they just thought it was murky water. And I thought that was really
that's gross.
funny.
I don't think
it's
she'd be
just
drinking
milk
Yeah,
with
you're
a
probably right.
foggy-looking glass.
Maybe they're drinking blue milk.
No. I heard, I think Zelda Williams say that, like, originally it was supposed to be them smoking marijuana in bed.
Okay.
But there was something going on with the ventilation in the house, so they just drank milk instead.
All right.
But I think I like it better that they're drinking milk. Yeah.
Agreed. It's more wholesome that way. Yeah.
And it's sweet, because I don't see a lot of teenagers drinking milk. And then you got
That's true.
teenage killer Lisa and corpse drinking milk together. That's so cute. Yeah.
No, as far as like what works for me, I love the interplay with a lot of the characters. I love the dialogue in this movie.
It's so funny.
It's very snappy.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
It is a good word.
Yeah.
It's almost like Diablo Cody wrote it for me.
Wow.
So yeah, I like the way it's written. I like the way it's acted. I think everybody did
so perfect.
Yeah, it's a really good cast, and I think everybody did a really good job with all their roles.
I think the reason that I love it so much is that I couldn't ask for anything else in a movie.
Okay.
It's got everything that I could ever want. Like
romance,
horror, romance, comedy.
Yeah. Action.
Zombie boyfriend.
A little bit of action.
Yeah.
Because there's a chase scene.
And it's pretty chasing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
where she's like climbing on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I love how when she's climbing up the stairs after she's like...
After he breaks in the first time?
Yeah, and they're like across the table.
Oh, yeah.
Like, going this way and then
And
going the
going
other
that
way.
way, yeah.
And then she runs upstairs and she loses her slipper. And then what he's trying to do is give her slipper back.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh,
then,
okay.
You know.
You've seen this a lot more than I have.
I have seen this a lot. So when she goes back into the house, closes the door, he's already in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just all cleaned up. I think it's from the sprinklers, but I didn't realize that. I thought it was a whole different creature.
Yeah.
Because he was already sitting down, already playing with stuff. And then he gives her her slipper. He like stiffly holds out his arm and drops it in front of her. And she's like, oh. And I guess that's when she realizes that he's friendly and not trying to hurt her. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was the sprinklers that washed all that crap off of him.
I thought it was too different. And I'm like, hey,
nope.
Papa.
Because then you got to wonder, like, what happened to the other creature then?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That was my only question.
Yeah. There's a big plot hole.
I know.
All right. Favorite quotes?
Oh, I wrote down like 6 or 7. Okay. When Janet is talking to Lisa about how she's going to put her in an insane asylum, she says, inpatient, lockdown, special, socks. And then she gets whacked in the head and dies.
Yeah. Yeah, because the creature comes out of the closet with the sewing machine, right?
Yeah, the sewing machine.
Conks her on the back of the head, and she goes down, and that's the end of Evil Stepmother.
Yeah, and then like when it shows her laying on the floor, it's a really cool because it's half like part of it on the right side is her head on the floor, blood spilling out, and then on the other side is Lisa's spilled peach rings. And I just think that it looks really cool, just the peach rings next to her head, all bloody.
The peach rings are like the gummy peachy things that she was eating.
Yeah, the ones that we got.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I'll take your word for it.
I know.
You didn't share.
What the heck? I still have some.
Oh, they got to be stale.
No. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's okay. I'll eat them anyway. It doesn't matter.
Ugh, don't break your teeth.
What? Okay, and then I also like the quote after she kills Doug and chops off his hand. Well, before that, he's like, hey, you're not going to hold my hand? Because she asked him on a date, sort of, on the paper. And it kind of tricks you into thinking that she's asking
other guy,
Michael Trent, the guy she has a crush on. And then it shows
But this is where she starts getting revenge on people.
Yeah, the yes circled on the paper, and then it shows her on the bench at Papoose Lake. And she's like, oh my gosh, you made it to the camera. I'm so glad. And then it shows her and Doug, the guy who assaulted her in the beginning of the movie when she ran out and got drugged. So,
at the party that she didn't want to go to.
So he's like, hey, you don't want to hold my hand? When she's like, let's go. And she's like, oh, I will. And then she cuts off his hand and holds it up and goes, ha-ha, I told you I'd hold your stupid hand. And the creature looks at her and she goes, what? I thought that was a cool thing to say.
It was very funny. It was very funny.
Yeah, and then when she's explaining to Janet about the burglar, she's like...
Janet's the mom.
Yeah, the stepmom. She's like, he was wearing a mask. A black mask in this wide-brimmed hat with a striped jumpsuit. And then Janet goes, that sounds like the Hamburglar. Taffy goes along, she's like, Lisa, and that does sound like the exact description of the Hamburglar. Yeah.
Poor Lisa.
And then Lisa... He's like, I've got like 4 left.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Run through them.
So,
I've only got 2, so go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I know yours. So, Lisa finds Taffy and Michael Trent, the guy she likes, and her stepsister in bed when she was going to go to his house and offer herself to him. And Taffy's like, well, he wanted me for not just my body. He wanted me for me. He was the only guy that didn't want me for just one thing. And then Lisa goes, yeah, and you just gave it out like a cheese cube from Hickory Farms. And then when they're in bed drinking their milk, and she says, she's talking to the creature, she's got one hand like on her bedboard, resting on his head, like playing with his hair, and the other one got milk in her hand. She's like, people always say, time heals all wounds, but that's a lie. It takes you farther and farther away from the place when you are happy. Makes those good smells go away. And then she like kisses her hand and goes whoosh. And I think it's so cute and funny and weird. Yeah, but it's like this deep moment and they're having such a good time,
Mm-hmm.
just talking about personal stuff, because they both, she lost her mom, and then he kind of lost his ex-lover and his life, so they can sort of, like, relate to something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's talking about it, and it's just such a cute moment.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like, the way that it's framed, like, from the edge of the bed, and it's looking at both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got her lights with the red lights, the roses, and their milk, and their pajamas, their cute pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so perfect.
Okay.
There's so many scenes that I would just use as a wallpaper,
What, for your phone?
like from a computer or something, because I
Okay.
don't think that'd fit my phone. It's widescreen.
All right.
Yeah.
You can crop it.
To what?
I don't know.
One of them.
However you want.
And then when the creature's in her closet and she goes back upstairs after the night where they're watching popcorn and Taffy's like, hey, I'm gonna go call Mom, and it was after she killed her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, yeah, how about you do that tomorrow? And then she's like, oh, but she promised me her earrings if I get my standing back tuck. And she's like, okay, yeah, tell her I said hi, let me talk to her after.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes upstairs instead, and it also, like, shows before she goes upstairs how oblivious her dad is to everything, because she's got blood on her nails, like, all over her hands, and he only notices that she uses whiteout as nail polish.
Yeah. Her dad's great. Her dad is the guy that played,
It's Joe Crest.
huh?
Joe Crest.
Is his real name.
Yeah.
But he's, I only know him from Stranger Things. He played Mike's dad. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of oblivious on that show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Token clueless father.
kind of. It's like almost like the same character in this movie and Stranger Things. Yeah, he's just great. He's so oblivious. Anything else?
So she goes upstairs and she finds the creature in her closet, and he's holding up her old doll from when she was a kid, and he, like, waves the arm at her, and the doll, like, makes a noise like, wah, wah. And then she is like, oh, this is Starlight Rosebud, hella good girl, gonna need a big bank. But I just call her Niblets Corn. And it's just, I love the name of it so much. And I think it's, okay, so I found out that her dog's name, Kathryn Newton's, one of her 3 poodles, is named Starlight Rosebud, hella good boy, gonna need a big bank. Instead of hella good girl.
Gonna need a big bank?
Gonna need a big bank.
Okay.
So I don't know which one was named after which, but I'm guessing she probably got the dog before the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that...
She just called the doll after her dog.
Yeah, probably, and I think that's just adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so cute.
Cray cray adorbs.
No. Stop.
I'm trying to relate.
No. And then, of course, death is temporary. I love you forever. It's not, they don't say it.
It's written, though.
The written
Mm-hmm.
note, and it's so cute. And then when he recites to Mary at the end, those are all my quotes.
Okay. All right, so I've got 2. Mine is after he plays piano for her for the first time, and he's got his hand back, so now he can play piano. And it's the REO Speedwagon song that I guess her mom used to love, right?
Her dad played it.
For mom?
On the piano.
Okay.
Yeah. Before she died.
And so the creature is playing the song, and Kathryn Newton starts singing the lyrics along with it, and then when it's done, the creature starts to cry, but because he's still, like, freshly reanimated and still mostly dead.
No.
When he starts to cry, she gets all grossed out because she says, oh, what's that smell? Oh, when you cry, it smells like a hot toilet at a carnival. And I love that line.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. And it's just her reaction sells it too.
Yeah. I love that his tears smell. It's so different.
Yeah.
And it's so perfect, too, because I would never think of that.
No.
And it's just so... It's so corpsey.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I've never seen that in anything else before.
No,
that
same.
his tears smell awful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it happens again before that when she first, like, brings him up to her room and he sees, like, the reason she finds out that it's him, the gravestone that she was, like,
the grave rubbing.
favoritizing.
The what? Favoritizing?
I don't know.
She was doing the grave rubbing.
Yeah, but it was her favorite one.
Yeah.
And she gave him her mom's rosary and all the books, and she talked to him, and he fell in love with her. I guess when he was still dead, and fell in love with her more when he was alive. So he's like, oh my gosh, he kind of points to the wax rubbing of his gravestone on her wall. And she's like, what? And then he pulls out her mom's rosary, and she's like, oh, you're him. And he goes, yeah. And then he goes to like kiss her hand, and she's like, oh, no, I get it. Okay, when I said I wanted to be with you, I meant in the ground, dead, because life sucks and people are jerk-offs. I didn't mean with you, you know? And then he starts to cry. She's like,
she's just a wretch.
Yeah. And then he takes a shower, and they do the trying on clothes stuff.
Yeah, and all the bugs come off of him.
Yeah, the worms.
Yeah, the worms and the centipedes at the bottom of the shower. Gross.
I remember he put a worm in Janet's yogurt because she was home.
And somehow she blames Lisa for doing it, and Lisa wasn't even there.
I mean, I guess maybe she put the worm, like, in the yogurt container beforehand, like, as revenge.
Maybe.
And that's why she wants to send her to an insane asylum, to the loony bin.
All right, so my other favorite quote. Well, first of all, I think we should explain that. Like I said, we were going to kind of explain this movie as we went along. This movie is basically a retelling of The Bride of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein. The two of them mashed up together, where in the end, spoiler alert, Kathryn Newton becomes the bride of Cole Sprouse's Frankenstein creature. I mean, his last name is Frankenstein.
Yeah, on his gravestone.
On his gravestone. So when he comes back, when he's reanimated, he's missing body parts, as we've already said. He's missing an ear, he's missing his right hand, he's missing his junk, and anything else?
That's it.
All right, so 3 major parts. And when she kills her stepmom, played by Carla Gugino, who I love Carla as an actress. I've seen her in lots of stuff before.
I've never seen her in anything else, but she was so good.
She was in, you've never seen these movies, but she was in Sin City, she was in San Andreas, she was in, what's that Stephen King movie where she's all tied up and she can't escape?
I have no clue.
Anyway, she's in that one. The name escapes me right now. But she gets killed by the creature when she's just about ready to explain that she's going to send Lisa off to... After
she says special socks, which was her last word, socks.
Exactly. It's almost as bad as saying gazpacho soup. It's a Red Dwarf reference. Anyway, she gets killed, and the creature says that he wants her ear, and Lisa's kind of freaked out because she says, I'm not a doctor. You don't need an ear. You're she's trying to explain to him that
Chrysler
LeBaron. Yeah, that was a type of car way back in the day.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So because it's like, we don't need spare parts. You're not a Chrysler LeBaron.
I thought that was a person.
No. Does it make more sense now?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I thought it was like a reference.
It is a reference to a car.
Like your quote.
It is, which I'm trying to get to.
I know. I'm sorry.
So she's saying that not having... you're going to have to help me with this one because you've seen it more than me.
I have.
All right, so correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but she's explained to him that he doesn't need his ear because it doesn't define him. Like, for instance, there's this guy on
9 Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives, and he doesn't. He wears an eye patch, and that doesn't define him. Although his name is Patch.
Yeah. So she sees his ear. Yeah, she sees his ear, and she's like, "Oh, well." It doesn't define you. There's this really hot guy on Days of Our Lives. He wears an eye patch, and it doesn't define him. What's his name? Patch. His name is Patch.
So it does define him.
I thought that you changed your quote for a minute, because you were talking about when she was saying, like, oh, we can't get you new parts.
Well, that came before her, right?
That came After.
Okay.
Because it's the next day.
Oh, all right.
When she's eating the peach rings and she's in her pirate goth outfit he gave to her the next day, the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you were going to reference when Janet comes in because she's talking to the creature because she's like, I can't get you new parts. You're not a Chrysler LeBaron. And then he goes, whoa, whoa. And then he like freaks out. So she's like, hey, don't kirk out on me, man. And then Janet is like, Lisa? She's coming up the stairs. She's like, damn it, Janet. Yeah.
Rocky Horror.
Exactly. That's what I thought you were referencing because I know you love that.
I do love Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
I forgot that she said that though.
I love it.
Huh?
I love it.
You love that line or you love Rocky Horror?
The line and just the reference.
Okay.
I think it's cool.
All right. So, how does this movie stack up against other Kathryn Newton movies, against other Frankenstein movies? Like you call it, however you want to.
Okay.
Whatever you want it to be your metric.
I've only ever really seen the original Frankenstein that you showed me.
Oh, you've seen Young Frankenstein?
Yeah, that one. That one.
Oh, that's not the original.
Oh, well,
the original is Boris Karloff, 1931.
Okay. Well, I've seen Young Frankenstein with Igor.
That's Igor.
Yeah.
They said your name was Igor. Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
Yeah, that's the only one that I've ever seen, and I don't remember much of it because it was probably 7 years ago.
It's been that long since you've seen it?
I don't know. I don't remember. I remember him.
I try to watch it every Halloween. I'm surprised.
Really?
Yes, that's like tradition.
I've never heard of that tradition.
Because you're off doing your own thing.
Yeah. Okay. What's my Halloween tradition?
Going out with your friends, egging houses.
Egging houses? What do you mean?
Throwing toilet paper into the trees.
No, we don't. We just go around and we watch horror movies like Trick or Treat.
Good movie.
That is good. Yeah, so I don't remember much of it.
All right.
The first Young Frankenstein.
All right.
But what I'd remember the creature with a little girl. And it sort of reminds me of it a little bit. I remember them on a seesaw and a flower.
And they're playing. Yeah. Oh,
that's cute.
I love my pretty little flower. That's what she's singing.
Okay.
And the creature is trying to play with her, and they run out of flowers, and it's kind of a parody of a scene in the original Frankenstein where Boris Karloff's Frankenstein comes upon a little girl playing by the side of a pond, and she's throwing daisies into the water to watch them float like little boats, and they run out of daisies, and she says, "Oh, we have nothing else to throw in the water," and then the creature picks up her and throws her in the water, and she drowns.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, this is a horror movie.
Okay.
So
I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was gonna take off his hand or something.
No.
Throw that in the water.
No. Why would he do that?
I don't know. To be nice, like Young Frankenstein.
No. So Young Frankenstein is a parody of that because they have no more. I think in Young Frankenstein they were throwing them down the well. And so when she says we have nothing more to throw down the well, what are we going to do now? And he kind of looks at the camera like, I'll throw you down the well, but he doesn't. And next, they're on the seesaw, and then he sits a little too hard on the seesaw, and she goes flying through the bedroom window as her parents are frantically looking for her. You didn't check upstairs. I didn't check upstairs. So they go running upstairs, and she's fast asleep in bed because she's overexcited, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. One scene that I remember very vividly is when they're eating dinner and she's like, you haven't even touched your food, and he's like, oh yeah, and then he starts mashing his hands in his food, and he's like, I haven't touched it, I'm touching it now. What?
Yeah.
And she's like, that's not the kind of touching I meant. And
yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
I remember
Victor Frankenstein starts unraveling. He starts freaking out.
Yeah.
He's really stressed. But so do you want to compare Lisa Frankenstein to that movie? Like, how does it stack up? Which one do you like better?
I feel like the answer of which one I like better is pretty obvious.
All right,
but I think they're both good.
So you would put this on par with Young Frankenstein then? Like it stacks up to Young Frankenstein?
Golf.
Yeah, that's the expression, on par.
Oh, yeah. And we watched half of Freaky last night. And I thought that it was really funny.
Yeah, we'll finish the rest of it tonight.
Yeah.
After we finish recording.
Yeah.
So did you want to... have you seen any other Kathryn Newton movies?
I've seen Paranormal Activity 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does this movie compare to the other 1.5 Kathryn Newton movies that you've seen.
This has to be my favorite Kathryn
All
Newton
right.
performance.
All right. So Lisa Frankenstein is tops for you.
It's top tier.
All right.
What more could I want?
I don't know.
But she said that she makes a lot of funny faces in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Cole Sprouse saying to her, your willingness to not put vanity first makes it incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you like a really incredible actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is so real,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
She is an incredible actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lisa Frankenstein highlights that
Mm-hmm.
really well. And Cole Sprouse, too. He trained with a mime for like 2 or 3 months before this.
That's right, because he has barely any lines except for the very end.
The grunting and
The grunting. He has to. He's missing a hand, so he can't even point with his right hand for like the first half of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He can't gesture. He just kind of like communicates in like grunts and guttural sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So he's expressing a lot. I got to give him credit. Yeah, I think everybody, I think I said this before, I think everybody did a really fantastic job with all their roles. So, for me, how this stacks up, and I've seen a lot of Frankenstein movies.
I've seen a lot.
All the Hammer movies. I've seen, the Universal Frankenstein movies. I've seen Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, which is also known as Flesh for Frankenstein. I've seen the Mary Shelley Frankenstein, which was done in the 90s with Kenneth Branagh. Tons of them.
Mm-hmm.
Young Frankenstein, too, is one of my all-time favorite movies. But I don't know if I can really compare this one to all the real true horror movie ones, because this one's more of...
Zom-com.
A zom-com.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's perfect. So, for me, I think I'd have to say that this is right up there with the best of the parodies.
Okay.
Young Frankenstein, obviously, it's up there. I had a lot of fun with this movie, and I didn't think I would. Kind of sorry I did skip it.
Yeah.
In the movie theater with you guys.
You shouldn't have skipped it. You should have come with us.
I know. It just looked silly at first, and now I'm regretting it.
So
I was wrong.
So wrong.
I admit it. I was wrong.
Yeah.
So, what's next for our categories, kiddo? Is there a better ending, or do you like the way it ended?
I do really love the way it ends, but I do...
It's very bittersweet.
Yeah. I mean, they're together, but they're dead. But I guess that also gives them a lot more freedom.
It gives them a lot more time.
Time, freedom. They can do whatever they want. The law can't really apply to them. Are they going to lock 2 zombies up?
I don't know.
Then, again, Lisa is also completely bandaged and wrapped up. Her eyes look kind of melted out.
Yeah.
But... me and Mom were talking. What if that is build up to the next movie where the creature who can now talk, and I don't know if she can, probably, maybe not, I don't know.
Maybe not.
But he gets
at the end of the movie, she gets terribly burned in a fire.
Yeah.
And that's how she dies.
In the tanning bed.
In the defective tanning bed, which she uses to zap the creature every time she puts a new body part on him. She puts him in the tanning bed, zaps him.
And then the body parts work.
It kind of fuses the new part to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, she uses that to sacrifice herself to be with him at the end. And
he doesn't really know that until he reads the letter that says, "Death is temporary. I'll love you forever." I rhymed.
That's right.
Letter. Yeah.
Letter forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the creature could become like Dr. Frankenstein now that he's making his own bride, and he can get parts that she needs. Like you said, her eyes kind of look like they might be melted out. They really don't. Yeah,
they're kind of just really fleshy and pink on the inside.
Yeah. They don't dwell on them for too long.
Because she just opens her eyes when he says the end of the poem.
Right.
And that's it.
And it's only for a split second you see them. Yeah, I think that would be a good ending.
Yeah.
Or to set up a sequel.
Yeah. And I remember Diablo Cody in an interview saying that there probably will be a second movie, so...
Well, hopefully it lives up to the first one, I know.
Yeah. But I was going to say, I also remember Zelda Williams saying in an interview that there was going to be a different ending, where Lisa doesn't get reanimated, and instead, somebody else is doing to her grave what she did with the creature's grave. Oh. And then the cycle repeats, where she falls in love with whoever this next person
No,
is.
see, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Her and the creature spent too much time in this
I
movie
know.
together to not be together in the next movie.
Yeah.
If that's what they were said. No.
Yeah.
Nope, don't like it.
I mean, I think it's a cool idea to have the cycle repeat, but I love them together so much. I mean, I couldn't just let that go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you like this film, you might also like...
Ginger Snaps.
Good call.
It reminds me of it.
Very good call.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I forgot you watched that one.
I did.
Yeah, that's a very good movie, and that's a good call. I forgot that you had said that
Yeah,
before, that this movie reminded you of Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, because like I feel like Ginger Snaps, Jennifer's Body, and Lisa Frankenstein, they're all very similar with the girls and the monsters. You know, yeah.
3 different girls, 3 different types of monsters too. Make a good trilogy.
Even though Lisa isn't technically the monster until the end.
No, not until the very end.
Yeah.
Anything else?
What would you say for?
What did I put? Let me see. If you like this movie, you might also like Frankenstein. Like I said, 1931, The Bride of Frankenstein, Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And I put Big Daddy. Because Cole Sprouse was Adam Sandler's adopted son in that movie. And in that movie, Adam Sandler's character asks him, like, if you don't like whatever his name was in the movie, I forget what his name was in the movie, the character's name, asked him if he wanted to change it to anything, and he picks the name Frankenstein. So they call him Frankenstein through the second half of the movie.
And 6 years later, he plays Frankenstein.
See that?
Yeah.
It all comes full circle.
It was set up like that. 30 years in the making. Yeah.
It was meant to be. All right. Does this movie have an MVP? Most valuable person?
Lisa?
I mean, I had a feeling you would say that.
Yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be a movie without Lisa or the creature. So, do you mean most valuable person as in
it could
actor or?
If you want MVP, like when we do this on the regular show, we could say like the sets. We like anything could be MVP.
Okay, because
the studio that made it could be the MVP.
Focus feature films.
See, you even know that.
I do know that because at the beginning of the movie, it comes up and it says Focus feature films, and it's got the little unfocused O that kind of taunts me a little
because it's all
I wear
fuzzy.
Glasses.
Yeah.
I remember them saying that the house that they used was also very last minute, like right before filming. Because
what, the location?
Yeah, because they originally had a different house, but they couldn't use it like very shortly before they started filming, so they had to get a new house, and they filmed it in New Orleans in that bright pink old 80s house that apparently someone actually lives in.
Yeah, it was very fitting.
Yeah.
The house did look very 80s. So that was a genuine...
I love the couch.
That was a genuine house. It wasn't a set.
Somebody lives in it.
Damn.
I know.
Damn, stuck in the 80s. Wow. So I was going to say, for my MVP, I was also going to say Kathryn Newton.
Yeah. But
the more I think about it, I think I want to say Diablo Cody.
Well,
because you wouldn't have... I mean, this was a very well-written movie. I got to say.
I love it.
And at first, I wasn't that big of a fan of Diablo Cody. When she first came on the scene with Juno, she was like the quote-unquote it girl as far as like Hollywood writers go, and people were making a big thing about her. And I really didn't think that Juno was all that.
I like Juno.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice in maybe 2 months. And I've been listening to the soundtrack. The soundtrack
the soundtrack is great.
Yeah, Kimya Dawson, Antsy Pants.
Okay.
I've just been listening to those songs in that in the Spotify playlist, but it's really good. But I like that movie a lot. I love the way that that Juno talks. She's just so open, and she can say anything to anyone. She doesn't really care about first impressions.
It's true.
So it makes for very funny lines.
Yeah. But for some reason, I just thought that Diablo Cody was a little too, I don't know.
People were making too big a deal?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I wasn't buying into it at the time, but I think now...
I don't think people are making enough of a deal about
15
her.
years later, I think she's probably grown as a writer.
Yeah.
And the dialogue is still very clever. It's still very now. even though it takes place in '89. She writes for the era. She knows what she's writing about. And like you said, I mean, she's probably the one that came up with the idea of the tears smelling.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to give her that little detail too. So yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Diablo Cody because without her and Zelda Williams' direction, it wouldn't be the movie that it is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if anything was different, I wouldn't like it as much. I remember when I was watching it in the theater for the first time. It was right before they kissed. They were like about to kiss, and then the sirens come, and I'm like, oh my god.
Don't.
If they don't kiss, this might not be my perfect movie, but if they kiss, it's perfect. And then they kiss, and I'm like, okay, well, it's my new favorite movie now. Not that I had a favorite movie before, but this makes it. But other than that, if it was any different, anything was different, I don't think I would like it as much.
Okay.
And I wouldn't have watched it 14 times.
True.
Yeah.
All right. And that's Lisa Frankenstein.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap like Kathryn Newton was at the very end. All wrapped up.
Oh my gosh. No.
Wrapped up like the mummy in the tomb.
All right, so that's Lisa Frankenstein. Gonna wrap this up. I'm just gonna do like our regular outro then.
Okay.
You can catch us on www.3gdpodcast.com, where you'll be able to find all of our past episodes there, including all of our 3GD Escape Pod episodes that we put out from time to time. And our social media links are there. We can be found at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our audio can be found weekly on YouTube as well. If you could, please leave a 5-star rating and a review for the show.
Leave 5 stars.
A 5-star rating and a review.
Lisa Frankenstein.
Exactly. Goes a long, long way.
Rate the movie in the reviews.
A 5-star rating goes a long, long way to help push our little show further forward from the rest of the podcast pack.
You should also rate the actual movie Lisa Frankenstein 5 stars.
We heard you.
Yeah, I was saying something different.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. And it most importantly makes it easier for other people to find us as they're searching. If you're not a subscriber, you can go to the website and you can subscribe to us easily by hitting one of those shiny buttons to the podcast platform of your choice. We can be found pretty much shiny.
Click it.
We can be found pretty much everywhere that podcasts are available. So just subscribe to us, and you will never miss an upcoming episode. And with that, I think we're pretty much done. So Quinn,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you had fun.
I did.
Good. You got to talk about your favorite movie?
I did. I never get to talk about it this much because people get sick of me talking about it.
Well, now everybody can hear you talk about it. And they can rewind it, they can replay it, and they can hear you they can hear you gush about this movie as often as they'd like.
That's the worst part about this.
Well, hey, you wanted to be on.
I know. It's my fault.
It goes out to tens of people.
Tens. Okay.
Anyway, thank you, Quinn, for coming on.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And a long time coming, too, like you said.
I know. 5 years.
5
years. Later.
All right.
5 years later.
Good night.
Good night.
Why are you giggling?
I don't know. You can hear my breathing in it. It's
yeah,
funny.
they're very sensitive.